So right now we're going to cover some of the use of the baton. Some people call it a clatter stick. You call it whatever you want. I call it a baton. A couple of things with using this is you always want your hand to cover the butt end of it. Because when you're swinging it around, if the butt end of it that's not split hits the dog, you can injure the dog. And you can also cause a lot of other training issues, being stick shy, where the dog just does not like the stick anymore. Like I said, we start this very, very young. The reason that I started so young is this just has to be background noise to the dog. They kind of enjoy it. Honestly, my dogs, if I'm even watching a video and they hear the clatter of the stick, they'll get super excited about it because they know that this means they're going to have some fun. So it's kind of the opposite of what most people think is like this is some sort of punishment or I'm trying to hurt the dog. I'm actually kind of desensitizing the dog to the stick so that, again, in real life, if somebody does hit the dog, they think this is just part of it and roll along with it. Just like when you're teaching kids, little kids to box, they get punched in the face. So they have to get used to that, so they're desensitized to it. So working here with Zach, this is one of the techniques that I love to use with newer decoys, is I'll back tie a leash to a tug. The tug represents the back of the dog, and the front of it where he's not going to touch, and the back of it where he's not going to touch is the dog's head that's biting him and the dog's tail after their body. You're basically going along their spine from the neck to the hindquarters and on the sides of the spine. So you're always hitting the dog like this, not coming straight down on their spine and not hitting him in the head. You want to find just that meaty part of their back where they have the most protection. And it's more of a grazing kind of a hit going forward. I always tell people if you were standing at the back of the dog, it would look like an infinity symbol. For those that didn't pay attention in math class, it looks like a sideways 8. So I'm brushing like this. So the stick ends up looking like an infinity symbol as I'm going at the dog. I'm not coming straight down on him, which of course in training I do because mistakes can be happened by the decoy. I even like to hit my dog in the head. I'm not striking him hard, but I want it to be enough that they're desensitized to it. So if it does happen by accident in a competition, the dog's not freaked out. I'll even go under their body. But for the purpose of this, I'm just going to show you the absolute proper way to do it. So again, you'll bury the stick in your hand. And then when you're coming across the dog, you're going to take a swipe up and a swipe back. You can go ahead for it. This. Yep. So if I was standing in this direction, when I look at it, it's looking like an infinity symbol. You're coming across and then back. Yes, just like that. Perfect. As you start to get better with that, you can do it again and try a little faster. Good. Instead of striking, try brushing more. So you're brushing that way away from your body and towards the tail of the dog. Yes, perfect. Just like that. So once I start doing that, then I can start telling the decoy to move around. On the very front of the dog's head, I have a bungee, so it gives a little bit. So it kind of represents the dog pulling and biting in, pulling and biting in. So I'll have the decoy start to move around a little bit to keep the tension on the dog while he's using the stick, so it all becomes second nature to the decoy. So you can start striking while you're moving around. Perfect. The body movement is important to keep the dog engaged in the bite while he's still working the stick. Once I see that my decoy is good at this, then I'll start moving on to a more experienced dog for him to work with, because if he makes a mistake, the more experienced dog is definitely going to be able to handle it. If he does this on a puppy, you can create a real stick issue where the dog just won't bite and they're afraid of the stick.